Welcome to the live. So we have had some questions regarding multiple sclerosis, seizures, GD26, and pacemakers. So I hope you will stay here with me and enjoy this live. So the first question is, what are the best points for multiple sclerosis on a human, please? Now, this may surprise you, but I'm going to tell you the best points are standard points. I know this sounds strange, but it is still true. It's the standard points. And let me just remind you of my neighbor. I had a neighbor here with multiple sclerosis. I've known them since 2001. And the lady already had multiple sclerosis, I think, or MS, for, I don't know if it was 20 years or longer. And she started to torch the standard points in 2009. In the end, her doctor did not recognize her. Because I remember well, in the beginning, before she was doing the standard points, stimulating the standard points, she used to have issues to walk. She had issues to hold her glass or her cup of tea. And she had issues with all of that. And once she started to torch, one problem after the other started to disappear, and she became stronger. She could walk better, she could hold her glass and her cup of tea, and she still does today. I went to visit them because they moved back to the UK. I went to visit them in July. We went out for lunch. She walked into the restaurant without a cane. She cut her food herself. She could just do everything herself. So stairs are difficult for sure. But other than that, she is doing wonders. And that is all with the beginning of stimulating the standard points to bring your body back in balance and make it stronger and stronger and stronger. Apart from that, you are going to do the specific points of the issues that you have, of the symptoms that you are showing. Meaning, if you have stomach or digestive issues, do the digestive points. If you are having issues with your hands, do the hand points. If you have memory issues, do the memory points. Of course, not all at once. You know how to build up it a bit. But other than that, you do the specific points of the booklet that is showing as a symptom. And you never, ever, ever, never, ever forget to also do the standard points, because they are the most important points of all. Good. Let me see for the next question. Does advanced photonic therapy help with seizures? Yes. Epilepsy or seizures, there are some specific points. There is a specific booklet. In this case, this lady has a dog. She's talking about her dog, but it doesn't matter if it's the dog who's having seizures, or if it's your child that's having seizures, or whoever or whomever. It doesn't matter. The points are the same. Again, you're going to do standard points, and you're going to do the specific points for seizures, for epilepsy. What is going on at that moment, you do those points. I have had to use them myself in 2015 for the dog, my heart's dog, for Boomer, on his last night. And yes, it stopped the seizure very quickly, but we knew what was going to come in future, so it was high time. Boomer was at the end of his life. When I saved him in 2010, he had already severe kidney disease. He was positive of leishmaniasis, but Ehrlichia, he had lost an eye. All of that before I even saved him. And he was already an older dog when I saved him. So he had another lovely, more than 5 years with me. But in the end, he was at the end, and his body could not deal with the toxicity anymore. So in Boomer's case, it had to do with the toxicity. And so we knew that other seizures would come, that it was high time for him to go. On the other hand, I also had another dog, a puppy that I saved, will it now be 2 years ago? 2 years or 3 years ago? I think 2 years ago. And again, he had grown up eating raw tripe in the Netherlands. He came here, they put him straight on dry food, and that's processed food. And I don't remember if it's within 2 days or something, he started to having seizures. And after 10 days, they wanted to put him to sleep because he was having seizures every day. He came to me. I started with the points immediately, and I changed his food back to healthy food for dogs, and the seizures also went away. Sadly, once he was adopted, I don't know what they did. For sure, they didn't do his points. That's quite clear. And sadly, I heard that his seizures came back, and he was also put to sleep. In cases like that, I wish I would never have given dogs into adoption, because sometimes we screen adoptants, but then still sometimes they don't do what I would do for the animal. That's for sure. Next question. If a person has a pacemaker, can they still use advanced photonic therapy? Absolutely. There again, I have an example. I have a dear friend of mine in the Netherlands. She has a daughter who has, I think they put the pacemaker in when she was 6 years old, I think more or less. She's now 17, or she's going to be 18. And she has been using advanced photonic therapy. She has her own torch. She does her points. And she also received the green light from her doctor to be using this to stimulate acupuncture points on her body. And it's also in cases like that you have to remember that, imagine you go for yourself or for your child or for your dog or your horse, certainly for the pets that you have close to you or your family, your human family, having to get needles inside your body. I've had it when I was 18 and I really didn't like it. And I even fainted once, but that was after the treatment. Still, I didn't like it at all to have those needles in me. And if you then imagine that you or your child or your pet has to lay there and not move for many minutes with those needles in, it's not an easy job to do. And thanks to advanced photonic therapy, you can now do this at home yourself. You don't have to go somewhere. You don't have to lie still for a long time. You can just take your torch. I have so many here, but he's behind there. I can't reach it from here. You can do it yourself at any time and whenever you want to and whenever you need to. And remember, it's not just to be torching or stimulating acupuncture points. You can also use it to quickly relieve pain by torching over it, or for the scars, or for wounds to have quick healing. All of that is possible. So make sure to use it what you can use it for. Good. I saw one more question. I see that with the torch, I can stimulate GV, governance vessel 26. And I read that it is used to stimulate breathing also in newborns. Can breeders use this torch for their puppies too? Yes, absolutely. It doesn't matter. The point, GV26, is right here. Okay, it's a revival point. It's a point, for example, that they also will use on people who are in coma to wake them up. But they also use it in hospitals to wake up newborn babies. And then they will poke with something in here until suddenly you have the baby taking its breath of air and probably also crying a little bit. But you can use this on the puppies that in case you have a dog, or the kitties from a cat, or even falls, because it's so important to get that. You see, stimulating GV26, it's going to open the capillaries to the brain. So your brain is going to get more oxygen. And what you don't want to forget is that oxygen is what your body also needs to function well. So you always, I mean, you can use this point for revival. You can use this point on newborns. You can also use this point, for example, in case of a shock. It's all about getting that oxygen to the brain. And now, I've never tested this. I do have a practitioner who did so, but what I wanted to explain is, I remember that Dr. Brian McLaren always, and it's written somewhere in one of the courses, that he says, stimulating governance vessel 26, which opens the capillaries to the brain, is more beneficial than putting a mask on with 100% oxygen. And how is that even possible? Well, if the capillaries to your brain aren't open, you can put as much oxygen on your mouth. If the capillaries aren't open, the oxygen is not going to reach where it needs to reach, namely to your brain. So even if you're going to put a mask on, make sure to always stimulate governance vessel 26 first. Well, that's it for today. I have a webinar next week and next Sunday. This time it's for the Dutch-speaking people. Don't worry, the English ones will also get one of these webinars soon. But that's it for me for today. Keep on sending me your questions. Make sure to follow me on YouTube, because that's where the future is. That's where you're going to be seeing me more. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.